Hey there, Wolfpack fans. It's me again, Kenton Gibbs, bringing you another episode of Locked on Wolfpack with our main man, Grayson Boone. And folks, we've got to talk some AAU basketball, apparently. That's what we're doing here. We're an AAU operation. All I'm saying is we don't have matching team sneakers, which I don't like if we're an AAU team. You know what I mean? We need to match the sneakers with the little book bags to go with it. I don't see enough of out of our team. But according to Brevin Galloway, Clemson point guard or former Clemson point guard, I guess, because he doesn't have a 7th year eligibility. At least I hope he doesn't. Even if he does, go get a job, young man. But with that being said, we got to talk that. We got to talk some more of these AAU players, again, NC State players, getting into the portal and whatnot. Grayson, are you ready for today's episode?
I'm ready. Good episode coming. I'm ready.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to get into Brevin's comments and the portal and more on today's episode of Locked On Wolfpack.
You are Locked On Wolfpack, your daily podcast on the NC State Wolfpack. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
So, folks, I'm sure some of you have heard the quote already, but I'm going to read it out for you anyway, just to make sure that we're all on the same page here. Okay, the article here is basically explaining how Brevin Galloway loves playing a team like NC State instead of a team like Virginia or Virginia Tech because they're disciplined and they play the game a certain way, as opposed to NC State where it's like you're playing AAU because you're just hooping and they're not going to play discipline. Now, a lot of fans got very up in arms about this. And this was a moment where, again, I know when I'm talking to a loud minority and I know when I'm talking to, the general average fan out there. Grayson, what are you thinking about this? Are fans justified in their anger and bringing up the fact that Mr. Galloway never made the tournament in all 6 of his years of college basketball? Or is it just a moment where it's like NC State fans are a little too easy to get under their skin? Talk to me.
I think it's both. I think it's justified to hear this and kind of tilt your head a little funny, coming from, somebody that didn't get into the dance. It's easy to hate from outside of the club. You can't even get in.
Even get in.
You can't even get in. So, but look, being a Clemson point guard this season, I understand why maybe he's a little still bitter, seeing as we got in and they didn't after they waxed us 3 times. But, I mean, I think the other half of this is I think NC State fans are easy to trigger sometimes. That's a very transparent thought.
Right.
If you disagree, I think you're denying it. But I think we're very easy to trigger at some point. So I think he knew what he was doing with comments like these. But and I'm going to flip it back to the other side. I don't necessarily think he's wrong either. I think I can understand why some other teams would kind of look at us this way because it is kind of the style of ball that we've been playing the past couple of years where we have 1 to maybe 3 guys who do most of the work offensively. Everybody else is just kind of a role player. They're in the game just to get boards or just for defense and not for, the whole package, offense, defense, in transition, the whole shebang. And because of that, it seems like we play kind of pickup basketball at some points, which is, I think, exactly what he's referring to in we look like an AAU team sometimes. So I understand why he's saying it. I understand what he's trying to do with it. But look, for NC State fans, don't let this guy get under your skin. He didn't do nothing with his 6-year college career. He's no lottery pick who knows what he's talking about. He's just trying to stir the pot. He's bitter he didn't get into March Madness. He's bitter that we did, and he's got a lot of time on his hands now. He's got to hit up LinkedIn to try and find himself something to do here in the coming months. It is what it is. I'm gonna leave it there because it really doesn't deserve much of our time.
I'm gonna make a statement here that this is this shouldn't be political to anybody. This young man began college when Barack Obama was in office. Think about how different the world was. Like, there was no such thing as a coronavirus when this young man was in office. Lil Nas X did not exist to anybody. It was just another young man named Montero from Atlanta at that time. Like, that is how long this gentleman was in college, right? And I'm not saying that to discredit him or anything, just a little funny tidbit there. But here's what I'll say about that. There's a lot of credence to that, and I don't know why NC State fans are so mad about it. Like, and this is why I say I don't know why we're so mad about it. What has always been my biggest complaint of Coach Keatts, Grayson? What has always been my biggest complaint?
Not running set plays.
Yeah. Now, listen, NC State fans, if y'all have called me out for saying, hey, he does run set plays, Ken, you're just not seeing it, then tell me. But I don't think that y'all have, because y'all knew I was right. And there, that's the reality there. And we also don't switch defenses very often to say like that there is an organized, concerted effort to kind of get teams out of their rhythm and all that. Instead, we just say, all right, make them uncomfortable, press them, which I don't mind. I really and truly don't mind that at a high level. But what I will say is this. For the AAU style of ball that we play, we finished, sixth in the nation in turnovers per game or something?
I believe so. We were very disciplined, despite what Brevin has to say about it. Very disciplined on the offensive end. We didn't turn the ball over a whole lot.
And this is the point that I was getting to with that. At the end of the day, there are certain ways in which, like, yes, I guess it was kind of a thing. But, I mean, at the end of the day, there is on one side and, like, slow it down and run the play. The other end where there's complete chaos and just go, doesn't matter what's going on. Just keep running and we'll eventually win the game, which I don't think that Coach Keatts is there either. I think that he's somewhere in the middle, but leaning towards that go style. And with that being said, again, this is a gentleman that's going to have to learn some Mandarin here, unless he wants to go work at Enterprise. Those are the two options. Mandarin or Enterprise.
Need some Chinese or a LinkedIn login.
Hello, that's hey, listen, I'm a tech recruiter, so Brevin, if you graduated in engineering or product management, never mind, we ain't gonna go there. But anyway, the long story short of it is very simple. I mean, again, to me, I understand, and trust me, I get it. I have seen with my own two eyes the ACC, every single player that got drafted except the ones from NC State. I've seen it. I've seen it with my own two eyes. I've seen things like that happen to where there are legitimate grievances that NC State fans have, to where we legitimately have reason. We watched everybody tell us, oh, y'all shouldn't foul if you don't want UNC shooting 36 foul shots. And then when the exact same thing happened against Syracuse, then everybody in the country said, wait a minute, what's going on? Syracuse shot how many foul shots? I think it was like, 2 or 3 that they shot? And then everybody got all up in arms about it. Like, listen, this is very simply a situation where, I mean, hey, it's a guy stating his opinion, whatever. It is what it is. You know what I mean? No reason to get too worked up about it. There is some truth and some credence to his opinion. But again, who are you? With all due respect, like, my brother in Christ, we don't know you. We're not expecting to see you in doing anything of significance going forward. College was the peak. That was the pinnacle, buddy. That's it. That's get ready to learn some Mandarin or some Italian or some Portuguese or some Spanish. I'm sure that La Liga de Baloncesto is hiring, buddy. But like, there's no reason for us to get worked up and in the tizzy and have this young man trending all day. Because, like, again, who is he? You know what I mean? And I'll tell you this. I'm going to leave it at this. NC State fans, if somebody or if the person or group of people who has committed an offense against us doesn't have institutional power to make what we do to make winning more difficult, who cares, right? The ACC network not tweeting about us. That's a group that's like, I beg your pardon. There's some power there. There's some dynamic there that's like, it could be problematic if we're not seen by these guys. That's okay. Him, who cares?
Before we move on, I'll do Mr. Galloway here. I'll do him one better. I liked playing teams like Louisville this year. Did you? Hmm.
L. Ellis. Hey, by the way, L. You know what I mean? Hey,
You
come
had
on,
to do
L.
it.
Come on, L. You know what I mean? Hey, we love you on this show, baby. You look good in red and white. You look good in it. Just saying, But yeah, that is a good question. Mr. Galloway, did you let, I mean, we know that you're a very busy man these days, preparing for the G League draft and all that. And I know that you're going to be there and do all the things. But in the meantime, in between time, did you like playing a team like Louisville? That's an excellent question. That is an excellent question to hear.
But I knew somehow you were going to get L. Ellis in there because you are betting on getting him to NC State. Here's what I'm betting on: FanDuel. The tournament is heating up. We are now in the Final Four, and there is no better place to get in on the action than on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. Yes, I did say that correctly. $1,000 back in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't even win. So if you miss your first bet this weekend on the Final Four, guess what? You can get up to $1,000 back in bonus bets. Just go to FanDuel.com/lockedon and sign up today to claim your no-sweat first bet. Then you can wager on everything from money line to point spreads and all the way down to which team is going to cut down the net in Houston. This is all on an app that's safe, secure, super easy to use. So don't miss your shot at a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000 when you join FanDuel today. Again, just go to FanDuel.com/lockedon to sign up. Make every moment more with FanDuel.
Now listen, I'm going to just say this, okay? We talked about the transfer portal yesterday. We talked about the players in there. We talked about how North Carolina's the hoop state. We talked about players from this area in particular. Do you know where L. Ellis is from? Durham. He's from Durham. Listen, L, I know mom and them want to come see you play. I know mom, grandma, the dad, cousins, uncles, aunties. I know they want to see you play, L. I know that they want to just take that 20, 30-minute drive. You know what I mean? And the PNC is one of the closest points to Durham in Raleigh. I'm just saying. I'm trying to work this thing out, baby. I'm trying to, you know what I mean? Hey, we could do NIL now. Locked on Wolfpacker. We'll feel free to.
We'll hook you up.
We'll hook you up, brother. We'll hook you up. You know what I'm saying? But I digress. Enough about the hopes and dreams of one Kenton Gibbs in the transfer portal. We've got to talk about the reality of the transfer portal. And Greg Gantt is the latest name that has been announced in the transfer portal. Now, on a scale of 1 to 10, how bad does the loss of Greg Gantt either hurt or concern you? Either one.
Which end is which? Where's 1 and where's 10?
1 being like, man, more power to you, bro. 10 being, please come back. I'm begging you. I will be outside your house with the boombox like Cusack with Molly Ringwald. Just come on back, please.
Okay. Respectfully, I'm at a 2. Mm-hmm. I think Greg Gantt is very replaceable. That's on the court. Now, we've talked about it a bunch of times on here. He was a great teammate this year, and that was something that's immeasurable in the success of a team overall. Right. He was always active in keeping guys engaged on the bench, keeping guys engaged on the floor. When he went down with injury, he was still keeping his spirits high. He missed the entire 2021 season due to injury. And so his arrival on the court was kind of long awaited. And once we got him, he kind of had to sort out a role that was maybe a lot less than people were hoping for him, in that his specialty, I guess, was defense and rebounding. And outside of that, didn't really give you a whole lot. Just calling a spade. And, the lack of offensive production there, at some points in the games, it would kill us. And there were a lot of times where with the ball in his hands, he kind of looked like a bull in a china shop. And again, I say this all with respect. He's going to go on to the next program where hopefully he can develop into the player that he wants to be. But I think he's very replaceable, especially in this day and age where we got a lot of shopping to do in the portal anyway. I don't think that this is a big loss by any stretch of the imagination. Just kind of is what it is here. Again, I wish him the best, but I think we're going to be just fine moving on.
Oh, absolutely. Here at Locked On Wolfpack and Wolfpack Nation, y'all got to know this. Here at Locked On Wolfpack, we are not those guys that, if a player left in a bad way or whatever, we're going to wish, bad things upon him and his family, dishonor upon you and your cow. That's not us, right? That's not who we are as people, unless somebody did something really wild. Then at which point, it'd be a different story. But with this case for Greg Gantt, I mean, yeah, I'm with you. I'm at like a 2-3. I don't really, with all due respect to Greg Gantt, I mean, you were hurt a lot. You know what I mean? And I say that as a football player that was hurt a lot during my time. I'm sure that, if I would have transferred or whatever the case may be, people wouldn't have been devastated and just burning King Gibbs jerseys about it. Because the best ability is availability. I didn't have that. Greg Gantt didn't have that. Brother, it's okay. Going to wherever you got to go. Again, we hope that you achieve all the things you want. Ball out, drop 30 on every team you play, as long as it ain't the boys from Raleigh. Drop 30 on everybody. Drop 40 on them. I don't see it happening, but more power to you. And I'll say this. He is kind of venturing into that territory of the same territory as Jack Clark, where I say, does it get better than this for you? With all due respect, I can't imagine it getting better. I can't imagine teams looking at this guy saying, man, you had 1 year-long injury, one injury that put you out for a majority of a season, and offensively you give us precious little, and defense and rebounding are good, but even on that end, you're versatile enough to defend 2 through 4, sure. 2s are a little too quick for you at times. If it's a big 4, I don't know. I mean, again, I like the things that he brings as a locker room guy, valuable. The things that he brings as a guy that he's going to have the right attitude and he's going to have the right attitude and energy and effort level, valuable. It's kind of the new era of ball. It's the new era of ball. You know what I mean? I can't muster up the feelings to be hurt about this one. It's just hey, man, more power to you. I hope you go on your way and go well. But with that being said, you said we got some more shopping to do. Well, Grayson, I think the grocery list grew a little bit. I think it grew a little bit recently. Tell us about some of the recent players that have been in connection with NC State since the last time we talked about the portal in terms of basketball.
It certainly did grow. I had a couple names pop up again here on Wednesday. We're releasing this on Thursday, so maybe this will be fresh for some ears. But first name is MJ Rice. If it sounds familiar, it's because it is familiar. Kevin Keatts heavily recruited MJ out of high school. He's from the Durham area. He was a 5-star McDonald's All-American, the number 30 overall prospect in the class of 22. Everything I just said is a big deal. And I believe his final 5 schools, NC State was in there. So we were already in the mix for him once. Why not be in the mix for him twice? Absolutely. And, he was a guy coming from Kansas, just didn't quite get the playing time that you thought a guy with this resume would get. And again, at Kansas, I understand how deep they are. And so maybe that's not much of a surprise. But like we've been talking about, so many shots, so many minutes, so much opportunity has just opened up here in Raleigh. And if we were hot on this guy before and you're looking for a place where you're not going to maybe have to compete anymore, wide open here. Hello, come see us. So,
and if you don't want to play in a system that's too structured, we got some AAU ball for you apparently over here.
And if you like playing on a loose leash, we have the place for you, according to Brevin Galloway.
Hey, Mr. Galloway said that we need to change our name to Raleigh Elite. You know what I mean? He said that was the new name that we should be looking at. No, but seriously, I think that the names that we've been mentioning in connection with are some huge names. And again, a lot of guys who are in the portal, like you said, they're from the area, top elite players in the nation. Listen, all I'm saying, and here's the other part of that. Here's the other side of that coin. If we do well with these guys again, right? Like, let's just say we do get our wish list of players in terms of like out of the portal and all that good stuff, right? They come back, they ball out, they do great, right? Like Jarkel Joyner, even though he's not from there, he's from Mississippi, but for like a Jarkel Joyner, like a DJ Burns, in that kind of mold, right? Why would you, as a player that's from this area, feel the need to go elsewhere? If you see that, like, hey, all these guys who came back, all these guys who left and came back are like crushing it. And the guys that we get in state that are supposed to be good, under Keatts, they have been really good. And granted, that's only been Terquavion Smith so far, but you get my point. You get it. I believe he's the only top 100 player we signed out of high school from the state of North Carolina during Keatts' tenure. Am I incorrect there?
Sounds right. There maybe, if you count like Josh Hall, then maybe not. But
Josh Hall didn't actually come on campus, right?
That's the thing. Is like if you count the guys that we had at one point, then maybe so. But
right. So
the guys we've got on campus, I don't think so.
The guys that we've had on campus, I'll tell you this much: the 99th ranked player in this class then goes on to potentially be a top 25 draft pick. The numbers work out in your favor, buddy. They work out in your favor. That's all I'm saying there. So, I mean, I think that these names that we're being mentioned in connection with, good stuff. It's big time. Coach Keatts, go do your thing. Everybody said you play AAU ball. Well, you know what a big part of AAU ball is? Recruiting the best players. It's part of it.
Yeah. Before I mention the second guy, I mentioned a couple of days ago the Dontrez Style, the opportunity to get Dontrez Styles from UNC. The more I hear about it, the more steam it's picking up. And to think about being able to pair Dontrez Styles with MJ Rice potentially, that would make one heck of a backcourt after we're needing to replace the backcourt we just had. That would feel I'd feel pretty good about that going into this next season. Of course, again, you need more pieces than just those two. But those two would be a large two puzzle pieces to the overall puzzle that I would like to fit in there. So circling up here, the second big name I saw come across is Davion McKnight. He's a guard out of Western Kentucky. Just played his junior season, so I believe by that metric he has 2 more years of eligibility, a senior year and a COVID year. I saw he is looking to set up visits with Arkansas, Xavier, and us, NC State. Those are 2 other big name programs nowadays. Those are 2 teams that just had some noise in March Madness, so no slouch. We're up against the big dogs trying to get a big dog, I guess you could say. He averaged 16.5 this year, 5 boards, 3.8 assists on 46% shooting. So he shoots efficiently. That could be nice to have in Raleigh. That sounds like a little bit of a dig. It's not. Maybe it is. Okay, maybe it is. He's efficient. He's efficient in shooting. I would love to have that.
Absolutely.
Something else I noticed was just kind of cool. His sophomore and junior year statistics are almost identical. And so from that, I gather that means he's proven he can hoop. If you're averaging 16.5, maybe sure, it's in Conference USA. Still, Conference USA just produced a team in the Final Four in FAU. Not to mention, Davion McKnight's last game this season came in the Conference USA quarterfinals against FAU, and he put 18 points on them. So not only is he efficient, not only is he consistent in scoring for 2 straight years, but he just put a sizable amount of points on a Final Four team. And sure, you can call them Cinderella. You can call them a great story. You don't win. I think they won, 29 games this year?
Yeah.
You don't win 29 games by accident.
Not at all.
Again, these are 2 big names, talented guys, and we got to keep the phone lines hot. I hope Keatts I hope his fingers are bothering him from how many numbers he's been punching into the iPhone.
Absolutely.
I hope he's running up a phone bill on whatever provider he's got. But I'm sure the boosters will help him out when it comes time to pay the bill at the end of the month.
Well, they get a school phone. They get a school phone. So like the school pays for it. He doesn't have to worry about it. He's not going to see a $500 AT&T bill. What happened? That's, he doesn't have to worry about that. But anywho, I 100% agree. There's a lot of talent in the portal. And again, talent local to Raleigh. There is too much talent local to Raleigh, local to the Triangle, local to really within an hour of NC State's campus that, like, if we can't pull any of these names off, we're an unserious outfit. We are a very unserious outfit. But again, I think recruiting is one of the things that Keatts does the best. So, we'll see how this goes. We'll see how this shakes out and lands. We'll be right back to land this thing after a quick word from our sponsors. So in closing, I think we can both agree, Wolfpack Nation, if you let Brevin Galloway get under your skin, you deserve it. You deserve to be angry and worked up today. You deserve that. And, we wish Mr. Gantt the best. Greg Gantt, we wish you the best. We hope you all the health and prosperity at your next school, at your next stop. Thank you for your time in the red and white. We appreciate you. And, the portal is jumping. You understand? The portal it's one of those parties that, like, your homeboy calls you and says, hey, man, come pull up. It's getting live in here.
You coming to the portal.
And
everybody's going to be there.
And you call that, hey, who all in there? And then they tell you, and they're like, yeah, it's some
live.
guys in here now. It's some guys in. Next thing you know, obviously you wouldn't want to hear some guys in the park, but that's another story for another time. We're not going to go there today. Long story short, there's some bad things going on in that portal that you want to be a part of. Bad like Michael Jackson bad, not like bad that y'all get the point. You get the point. Me and Grayson are talking in millennial vernacular, but I hope y'all understand me. Thank y'all so very much for coming out. Peace and love, y'all. And as always, go Pack.
Go Pack.
You are Locked On Wolfpack, your daily podcast on the NC State Wolfpack. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.